Good afternoon, everyone. This is Ronnie Russo with the Apocalypse Podcast, and I am here today with hip-hop artist Genuine Beauty.
Right.
And first, I wanted to thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
How
Thank
are
you
you
for
doing?
having me. I'm doing well. Can't complain. Nice, warm, cold slash mixed with a ray of sunshine weather we're having here in New York. It's a
All
little
right.
confused
So
out
your
here.
name. Hey, look. I was just a second ago. I was like, I don't know what to put on. Air, heat, whatever. Down
Word.
here in Virginia. So you got to tell me your name, Genuine Beauty. Where did that come from?
Oh, so all right. So the story with Genuine Beauty. Well, first of all, people who know me, who don't know me, I'm an openly transgender female transgender artist. I label myself as a regular artist because if you put yourself in limitations, people like to quote unquote put you in a box. But anyway, how I got the name
Right.
Genuine Beauty, it was a funny story. So I was living in Atlanta. I was doing illegal
Mm-hmm.
things. I was in jail. There was an LGBT block. So
Come here.
and I was telling the kids,
Okay.
the LGBT children that, hey, I rap. So they was like, so what's your rap name gonna be? I was like, before I transitioned, it used to be Reason. But then I was like, yeah, I've
Okay.
been doing music going on over 20 plus years. So it's like I was like, well, I'm kind of gangsters, got a little street cred or whatever. So I was like, OG gangster bitch. They was like, no, girl, don't do that. So so it was like So, I had gay parents, of course, that took me under the wing. They started to know me, and I was actually outside of the gangsterness. They said, okay, she's a genuine, authentic person. So, and that they started calling me Genuine. They were genuine. And then, then I was a rare breed, different type of girl. I show female masculinity and female femininity on both sides. And they was like, "Oh, that's the beauty behind it. You're real different." So I put two to two together. There was like Genuine Beauty. So I was like, "Here I am." So that's how I really got the name. But overall, I have grown into the name of authentically being a genuine person. I am labeled LGBT, aka Alphabet Mafia, Black and White Pioneer for the community on the indie process. Um, from news articles to my life hip hop period.com has mentioned me back in 27. Unfortunately, the guy who wrote that article is no longer here. RIP to Mr. Jason
Oh,
Bourne
sorry.
from Lawyers and Labels. Um, yeah, I just been a genuine person. They call me, I guess, a sensei too, low key, because all LGBT people, well, not just the LGBT people, but anybody who needs help just comes to me and like, hey Jen, where's the good shows at? Or hey Jen, where's this? How
Okay.
you do this? How you do that? And just humbleness had gave me
Music plug.
a lot of good positive vibes, through my career. So that's why I'm Genuine Beauty.
Hmm. Okay. And so I let you, do the lead when you mentioned being a transgender artist because, of course, you're more than that. And I know, I've seen you do other interviews, and I know that, of course, you have your own product, which is great. You've had a number of amazing and big interviews, to include Power 105. But I know that for a lot of folks, it's hard to get beyond that topic. So, like I said, I wanted you to start there, but I wanted to know, as an artist, for the sake of coming out in general, um, how is that? I mean, it's
Honestly, in the
difficult enough to do
beginning, I mean,
on its own, much less in this industry and in hip hop. On top of that,
well, in this industry, I mean, honestly, the best advice I can say, I mean, in the beginning of my years, when I switched over to me being a female artist, um, I mean, I really got more hate in my own community than anything else. Like I was different. Um, I wasn't really doing the popish LGBT gay lyrics and stuff like that. And a lot of
Hmm.
people was hating on me. I felt like, oh, this, that, and the third, I'm a sellout. Then I had possible privileges and I carried myself. It was a whole mess. And then, it kind of got to me, and I was one of those girls at one
I
point
can
in time in my younger years. I had to prove myself, like, hey, I'm different, I'm unique, I have my talent seeks. But the overall
imagine.
people who really authentic generally is the straight community, even though they don't understand
Right.
me, but they respect my music enough to say, hey, you're a dope individual, let's get your story
Yeah,
heard. I mean, I really haven't had really anything negative. I guess
that's good.
me being different and me understanding what people have a choice of whether they are allowed to accept it or not. I mean, yeah, I have been trust and beliefs. I have been misgendered plenty of times. I mean, there's times that I've tried to correct it, but I realized that sometimes you have to self-love your first, and then a lot of things come after. And a lot of people feel like I'm a sellout because I don't correct people when they misgender it. It's not that. It's just I know how to work the ins and out of business. Like at
You'll
the
be
end of
doing
the
that
day,
all
I
day
know
long,
who I'm talking to.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I know who I am at the end of the day. But to push the agenda
Right.
and be a music artist it's it's controversial. I wouldn't say controversial, but it's harder in most cases because a lot of
Yeah.
people, like even people from famous people, Mike Hands from the Death Squad, a lot of people feel like that the LGBTQ community, aka Alphabet Mafia, because I say Alphabet Mafia, um, because we just be trolling everybody. We just be swarming. That's why I say Alphabet Mafia. We don't play when one person get attacked. Everybody comes out the
Yeah, you
woodwork.
got to
But
stick
it's
together,
just
you
like
know.
a lot of the allies, people feel like we should just get to the music and then tell the story later. Or you can just say, hey, do your music and while you're telling your story as well. But um to me, I mean, I used to, in the beginning of my first 5 years here in New York, I used to make a little joke. Hey, I'm an openly transgender female artist. You guys faithful me. I like females, blah, blah, blah. Make comfortable jokes or whatever. But then I realized I was getting somewhere with that. But then again, I wasn't. And, I shout out to Missy Blanco. I had told her I was like, well, I was trans, and she even told me, she was like, hey, look, listen, whatever you do in your business or who do you identify, it's really none of my business. And I feel like that's what our problem is with the LGBT artists or LGBT community in general. Like we wear our pride on our sleeve because it's already a red flag that our sexuality or the way we carry ourselves is automatically different. So, and I mean, for me, I mean, it's been working as far as just rapping. If people want to know my story, know my story. It's not like I'm hiding, like for Christ's sakes, like I'm Google verified. I mean,
Right.
it's not my fault if you didn't do your homework and you find out some BS to say, oh, this person tricked me. No. I have enough footage and interviews, major interviews stating that I am a woman of trans.
You have said that you pride
Yeah,
yourself being
actually
open,
open.
and
But
transparent.
it's
So
at to a
you're right
point
about
now
that.
that I really don't have to every time I meet somebody, I really don't have to introduce to me because I already have enough paperwork and I'm a dope artist and I shouldn't put no limitation to myself. So
Yeah.
there's like this, you know, there's been interviews that they haven't asked about the transgender. They just know I'm part of the LGBT community, which is fine. But again, if you don't do your homework on me, that's on you. But
That's on you. You're right.
yeah, so but a lot of major accomplishments since I actually
Yes, you have.
been in here. Besides the Power 105, I have been interviewed last year by DJ Don DeMarco, For people who do not know DJ Don DeMarco, DJ Don DeMarco is Ja Rule's tour manager. He also works with Desert Storm Radio. I was also placed on Desert Storm Radio about twice in my life. Gucci Man blog. I was interviewed again with Desert Storm Radio by another
Yeah.
person last tape, aka Yo Stitch, from Desert Storm Radio. I have performed with Drewski 3 times. I have my first mainstream collab, indie guy named Lil Mop Top from Philly. I have
Okay.
just been for working, like, as the list goes on and on. I'm also in Spin Magazine back in 2016 with another famous trans artist,
That's a major one.
Shigeisha Diamond, another R&B / pop singer in Cali. Before she had moved to Cali, she was living here in New York. Yeah, I just been humble in placement. When people believe in their dreams and validation, from Mr. Cheeks. I was on his podcast a few times. He had a contest 2 years ago for the next big thing. It was an opportunity to work with Cal Dawson, another person from Murder Inc. Me and him had conversations, and he said he's believing in their dream too. I still keep in contact with him. I have support from Lady Luck. I have support from Mr. Cheeks. I have support from a lot of old school rappers. Like because it was a controversy at one point in time where Eric Sermon said, "Oh, the world is not ready for transgender rappers," and it was I know offhand from transgender rappers to managers to producers to everything. I know like over 100 people. That's not just trans females. I know trans men too. So like a few of my beats is made by famous trans producers who had placements from Yella Beezy to 3 6 Mafia back in the days before they transitioned. And so I'm just humbled that a lot of opportunities is coming my way and continue to bless me, and will continue to bless me. So yeah, I've been working. Also,
it looked like real recognizes real. So
it's been a lot.
Naturally, the talent is there.
I've also been opening doors. I was on one of the first trans females to be on an all-female mixtape hosted by thisis50.com by DJ Thorough. Recently, I was one of the first trans girls.
I missed that one.
At a FemCon back here in New York, with up and coming. Well, she's now a blue check. That's when I had met Young Devin when she was up and coming. I had met Kaya Jeffries. I had met a lot of people. I have just, been on my grind. I mean, there's other few trans females that I have also be in the game with who's doing the same thing as performing at regular showcases, not so many LGBTs. I'm not going to say their names because I don't know on their end if they're open or not, but, I'm not going to say their names. But there are a few other trans females that I do work with, and they're out there grinding the same way as me. So, it's a handful of us that's like, nah, enough is enough. Like we need a little platform.
Yeah, and good to know that the community is represented. I appreciate those numbers. I'm going to try and look into as many of those as possible. And so this interview was done courtesy of Misty Blanco of Misty TV Firm, and I told her that one of the reasons why I like her as an artist, and she's one of my favorite people to follow on social media, similar to you, is that she represents her work. Like her social media, I go to it. It's not like a bunch of catty back and forth. She's not picking fights on people. She's not roasting people. Like it's just of her work. She's a solid artist. And similarly with you, you did an interview before where you had taken some issue with some media tactics, that others might have, and you were saying that if you focus on your work and what you do. You said, well, look where I'm sitting right now. And this is based on my work product and in this case, the subject matter was exposing people.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. Shout out to sis. You know, me and her.
I'm saying to stay away
Sydney
from that.
Star had one point in time had a little beef and quarrel, and me and her is cordial now. Well, that kind of I'm not gonna sit here and lie. Like that situation almost had me, as they say in the industry, blackballed. It's not about the
Oh, I
artist.
never
It's
heard the
about
other end of it. I heard that you all had patched that up, but
yeah, a lot of it's not about the artist, it's about the people backing up that artist. It got to a point that the beef got so bad. Old management I was dealing with was pushing the agenda. I'm not gonna say their name either because I don't socialize with them.
mm-hmm.
Their whole agenda was basically bullying me, her, and I felt kind of bad because it's like, yeah, I was mad upset that you called me a
Other
hater and didn't
influences.
know my story. And I just spoke my opinion about, like, I know plenty of trans female rappers that don't need a 15-second of fame exposure to get on or fame, stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. Like, I have a budget, just like a lot of other girls have a budget. And, that it's already bad enough that the industry already has this target on us trans people.
Right.
It's basically like, and it's crazy, is like, since we don't have multiple public figures like that, that's authentically for the community. Like, TS, shout out to TS Madison, but she barely even does anything. Or Nakia Dragon. I'm talking about as far as music artists in general. For the trans community.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks that one person spoils the egg bashing, and it automatically targets everybody else in that community, that, oh, they assume
Right.
everybody's going to be like that when it's not the case. I have been actually changing that narrative under the indie ground to let them know, not all trans females like guys, and not all of them want to
Mm-hmm.
expose major people. They just want to have regular lifestyles. Basically, what my mission is hip hop.
Right.
I know it takes levels. It's just for the trans community to be recognizable as a human being, to able to have an artist career, or a producer career, or be a manager or a PR. Like, there's a famous transgender PR that works with high end clients, and she's an undercover, but I'm not gonna expose her either. There's a few girls that's actually in the industry, but they're not proud enough to accept who they are, or because due to the hostility and stuff former people have done, or rumors and regulations. I just
Right.
wish sometimes people don't put everybody in one box. Don't get me wrong, hip hop has gradually evolved from the Little Nas X's to Big Frida's, Bobby Lice,
Mm-hmm.
Saucy Santana. I congratulate the masculine, gay, and feminine gay males platform. Of course, the masculine lesbians are starting to have their own platform. It's just
Mm-hmm.
it just takes years. The same way how it sucks to say it, but I'm a realist. It's the same way how slavery was doing at one point in time. Is the same thing with the LGBT community. It takes time. So of course, the
It does.
masculine or the feminine
It's not
gay
gonna happen
boys is
overnight.
gonna get in first, and then later down the line, hopefully, us trans artists can be accepted in the hip hop game. But we really don't have no representation like that. Besides Sydney, I know Miss Boogie. She's more of an LGBT trans artist. I know Delish from I think Macon, Atlanta. She's another artist. Trans experience. Shigeisha Diamond. Just a little few independent blue checks of the trans experience. I had a
Mm-hmm.
conversation with D Smith before at the Out in Hip Hop reunion back in 2015, I believe, when she was out there.
Mm-hmm.
Only so much. The trans community has been in entertainment, but it has been more in acting. And I'm not trying to go down there, even though when you Google me, it just says actress or actor, whatever it says. I have done, freelance, movies and stuff like that. but extras and stuff like that. But I mean, I don't want my credibility to be recognized. Oh, she's an actress and not as an artist. And I feel like
Mhm.
we really don't have the proper representation. It's just a lot of ignorance, and even a lot of straight people had told me it's truth is ignorance, is pride, and it's sad that people say they believe in you but don't want to give you that little. I wouldn't say I mean, I really don't need nobody, but if anybody want to sponsor a girl,
But just in
like
general, right? Like for everyone.
but when I do make my public figure,
And when it comes to that,
but when I do make a public
go
figure,
ahead.
when I do become a public figure, I do want to make ways for the trans community. I say put people on, but like for example, like for the unfortunate girls who can't really fortunate transition, like a lot of them don't even do authentic
Mhm.
wig drives. Like I never seen none of these trans celebrities do wig drives, give free hormones for the unfortunate girls, or make a safe haven for trans girls just to do music, or like none of
Yeah.
that, like a showcase or none of that. Like I want to do all that. Like once I get in, like I have so much big plans, and it's crazy. Like
I mean, and all that's important. I mean, I think as of now, Lord, I think I just forgot the number.
right.
Um, I mean, things like trans homelessness is a big deal. I think that there could be, it's something like a quarter to almost half of homeless youth happen to be trans.
Yeah,
And I look at, issues like just last year, they wanted to make this a federal law to allow homeless shelters to be able to turn away trans people.
yeah, that's
And
not cool.
there are folks who say all the time, even today, that, they're just like, there's not any, they feel like it's not any trans issues. I've done like debate prep with folks, and there are people who candidates for office, and they'll like cite some statistics and say something like, I don't know, 20 attacks, woohoo, or like there's not, like they don't feel like numbers are big enough to suggest something. I've heard you mention in other interviews. I'm pretty sure
I mean, don't
if
get
it
me
wasn't an
wrong.
attack,
Like
you've had your close calls. I'm sure
I
that you've
mean,
had
I
to
had
defend
close
yourself.
calls when I was in film, and like men being aggressive as far as trying to holler at me, and I'm not talking to them because
Mhm.
my voice. I feel like my voice is cocky, but everybody says I have a female masculine voice, as as a stud or whatever. But it's like it depends on the issue on that too, because from my understanding, like before everything was videotaped on social media, it was real more down low secretive girls, or a lot of secretive killings and stuff like that. And it also depends their situation. Unfortunately, a lot of they say everyone three trans girl that you meet has HIV, or something situation. Not saying that should be a reason to kill somebody, but there's times that people who go through
Right.
things and might not accept things go to that, and they do bodily harm, not on purposely to others, but something like that. Or it could be a situation we don't know what really goes on with the murders. It could be the girls killing the girls, because me being a girl from the community, it'd be a lot of hate from amongst the girls, especially when it's dealing with guys or money, or oh, I don't like this girl because she feel fab, and I be thinking, I'm like, maybe it could be other girls sending other dudes or something, give a little coin or whatever, and eliminate the person.
I hadn't thought about
I'm
that in a
just
while.
saying,
That's
because
true.
people
I was
people are
curious.
looking.
Look, there's a whole documentary on that in Detroit about the girls being vicious on the
Wow.
street and doing specifically that. I forgot
Wow.
about that.
So I mean, I didn't have my fair shares of other trans girls trying to beat me up, seriously, pulverize me, stab me, to a point, that I was prettier than them, or afraid that I could make more money. I mean, I still do sex work here and there, but to invest in my career. But
Mhm.
it's crazy, and I just feel like for us to have clearance and justification, it has to start from home base, and it has to start from the elders. You know, like a lot of people have been saying, break general, curses and stuff like that, but it comes from the old school. Like everybody's
Mhm.
taught from the old school, mind you. Everybody is supposed to have this femme queen way, how femme queen is supposed to look, act, dress, and me being a community kid from ballroom now, it's like I'm one of those people who always been a self-made person who never abide by rules. Yeah, I'm gonna accept who I am, but I'm not gonna follow to your like and dueling just for somebody else to, to accept me or like me.
Right.
Like the biggest accomplishment more for a person of the alphabet mafia, aka LGBTQ plus community, is to accept that who they are deep down, whether that's sexuality or their genders. So it's like that's even hard. And mind you, a lot of people go distant. Like people gotta realize when coming out as trans, it's not something like, oh, you wake up, you wanted to be a boy or a man one day. It's like always been with you. Like I knew myself since I was about 5. You know, like not to put my partner's
Okay.
business, but our kids have we have kids that's non-conforming. Her 6-year-old is non-conforming. He's a cisgender male, but there's days that he feels like a girl, which so we use she pronouns that day, and then there's days that they feel like a regular boy, and then we use their boy pronouns. Same thing with the older child. They're biologically regular female, going on 13, but they really haven't really embraced it due to the fact, the hostility for being in the trans umbrella, and
Yeah,
that's
community hostility. Yeah.
including the non-conforming community as well. And it sucks that she can't even really embrace her masculinity like the way she wants to, and because people like to judge or call names and stuff like that, and it's crazy.
Uh,
But
it's an unfortunate part of society. And again, for those who feel like there's just people who feel like it's television and movies that's influencing people to be this way. I think that generally most folks across the LGBT spectrum have all mostly known when we were like around 5. Everyone gives about the same answer, just about of when they first knew. So
right,
I'm like, I think you all are fine as it pertains to television.
right,
I
and
don't
I
think that these movies. I don't think that Lil Nas X is going to be. It's not going to inspire anyone to go and like perform anal at Thanksgiving dinner. Like, stop it.
shout out to Lil Nas X. Of course, he's doing major things. He's bridging the gap for the gay male community. I applaud that young man deeply, but he's been going through things too. I mean, being trolled every day by. We feel like he down low. I Mr. Bootsy, but I mean, for a person to go so hard about somebody's sexual life, what they do in a bed, like he's just being himself. Like that's a red flag. I don't care what
And can I
nobody
just add, look at how old he is,
that
right?
point.
How old is Lil Nas X? What is he, 21, 22 maybe?
Right.
I'm not a fan of punching down. Like, for those of us, well, for people who are older, like, it doesn't make sense to be picking on somebody 10, 15 plus years younger than you. He's just coming of age. He's barely able to drink. Like, knock it off. Like, this is literally what people do at the age of 21. And and for normal people, if they had more money, they would similarly, be on stage and in front of folks and in public, half naked and acting crazy. So 21-year-olds do. Like, stop.
That part. I I mean, and
And I tend to defend younger friends, younger folks in media. Sometimes as a writer, I have to come to folks' defense. I DM people. I'm like, do you have anything you want to say in response to this? I'm just here to help
did
because
you
it's not fair. Like some of y'all, and Boosie is almost twice his age. Like, stop.
did you also hear the situation about Big Frida agreeing with Bootsy what he was saying?
Hey, I covered like everything about this, and yet I did not hear anything about
So
Frida.
apparently, I have read an
What did I miss?
article, and apparently that old Big Frida agreed with um Boosie stating that it's not the LGBT community, it's him being a problem. Talking about he had a lot of LGBT people in his movie and videos, but in a sense, it's like that's hypocritical because in a sense, it's like Big Frida, you really don't identify either female or male. You say you're just Big Frida. You really don't do a lot of LGBT community things either. That's why I go to say this, like for a lot of people. That's why I say a lot of people feel like I'm a sellout, but in my case, it's different. It's like my visibility. I feel like it's just enough, and like everybody does everything for whatever reason what they want to do. But it's like for you to agree, first of all, there's barely any public figures for the LGBT community. For you to go against something in your community, I guess the standpoint for Big Frida is like, oh yeah, everybody's human, but you have to look deeper to that. Okay, look at the situation with Dwayne Wade's daughter, trans daughter. Like you're constantly attacking. Mind you, there was another situation that Tyler the Creator during the BET Awards said something about Jadakiss, and Jadakiss was like, "I appreciate the compliment,
I
but I
remember
don't roll
that.
that way." He didn't go off on the deep end and stuff like that. Like there's the people who are
Yes, I remember
comfortable
when
with
I heard
speaking
that. I think
freely.
I sat and waited for a reaction that day. I said, "Oh, this is going to be good." And his reaction, I think he kind of
Mhm.
laughed about it. He was like, "Okay, like I appreciate it." I mean, and even if Boosie had like an initial kind of like off-color reaction, I would kind of be okay with it. It's just the fact that he kept doing it. Like sometimes we just react to stuff in a dumb way. Well, he's been doing this
Right.
for weeks. Like at this point, this is an unhealthy obsession. Like this is what this is turned into. And even so, the other spectrum of this was the reaction of well, it how Lil Nas X came into this because of the baby.
I
For some
mean,
reason, like he just got swooped up into this. What was your thoughts on what started this on the baby thing?
that situation with the baby, first of all, that was a lot of more ignorance than anything else because you didn't have to publicly announce that. First of all, every LGBT person is not out there in the parking lot sucking catching First of all, this HIV and AIDS is not a LGBT gay disease. There's a lot more straight people get it more than the LGBT
Okay,
community
that part.
due to the fact that there's a lot of down low people. That, but
Mhm.
that was ridiculous. But when you got the OG go Elton John and Madonna and TCU, that's a no bueno. And I mean, for him to take back the quote unquote public apology and stuff like that, that's fierce. Mind you, not to put other celebrities' business, but Ti should know better because at the end of the day, because your name ring bells in the LGBT community, I'm gonna keep it at that. You should not be talking, but it's fierce that people don't have the proper education. It got so fierce that major HIV awareness companies had reached out to this man, and he still don't.
Yeah.
Like that's fierce. Like
Glad contacted me as a blogger about this actually.
yeah, like that the whole situation, but it was more fierce because I feel like it also has to do with Megan Thee Stallion situation because Megan Thee Stallion also has a lot of backup dancers as part of the community. She supports the community hands down.
Mhm.
So, but in a sense, he probably already experienced it
I didn't
already
know that
with
about her
Megan.
dance.
Yeah, also with Megan too. And not just the LGBT community, he downgrades women too. Like from him to the
Right.
audacity for him to bring Tory Lane's crazy stuff on the stage with him, knowing that he already has a restraining order, that Megan has a restraining order on him. Like your fears, bro. That's why Tory Lanez is locked up, because he violated his restraining order during that concert. Because Megan was there too. That like this is fears. Like this world,
How about I? How about I've been busy?
this world has
How
no
about I've been
self
busy and I didn't know
respect
he was
at
locked up?
all.
Do you-
Like
I cover everything. I didn't know he got
yeah, he
arrested.
got arrested. He got
Again.
arrested like 3 months ago. He sure did. 'Cause he
You know who to blame? Oh, okay. 3 months. Well, I mean, but he's okay. He's out. He's not. Well, he's not behind bars the second,
No, he's still
right?
going. He's still waiting to go to
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
to to his
Yeah.
trial again.
Now I was about to say, I was like, now if he's, I was like, if he's behind bars the second, I'm going to blame Misty Blanco because I'm pretty sure I was doing something involving her, but I was too busy to notice. Okay, but yeah, I do remember him the rest before. I was going to say, wait a minute now, how did I miss that? Because when he does stuff,
Mhm.
he trends. But look, so the other, this brings up the other aspect of the LGBT mafia. For one, I like the fact that, hey, look, we stick together, okay?
Period.
You're not going to be dragging our name, all dragging the community through the mud. But the other part of it is that it's the people who feel like we are bullies and who feel like, oh, they won't they're not letting the baby speak. What about freedom of speech? Like there's freedom of speech, and then there is just like
Because
that was just such hold on, it was such a left thing. And then my take was just, okay, so we acknowledge a mistake was made. So how does this normally happen? You make an apology. Or if you're someone who doesn't have any business talking, and he's one of them, have somebody write an apology. It's not that hard.
right,
But it was like 7 different attempts at it, and then every time he would say something, he would come back with a but, you know. He would post the apology, delete it. And it's like, you know what, you want to be in purgatory. You
I'd
just
rather, let me put it this way. Although I do not like his behavior, but if you're a firm believer of something, like stand on it. I'll give a person that.
Mhm.
But to be, there's a way how you could reword things, or say like, "Hey, I don't approve of this, but not be harsh about it." But you like, "Yo, I don't rock like that." You could easily simply say that. I'm like, "All right, cool." Like a lot of people don't know. Like these artists, everybody can relate to everybody's music, which is why it's called universal
Right.
music. You have to realize that
Yes.
the LGBT community, aka Alphabet Mafia, we play a lot of portion
Mhm.
of these artists' music. Like it's no shade.
Yes, we do.
Like we support fully 1,010%, and it's fears that we're the community, especially the Black LGBTQ community. It's like I feel like I'm a whole slave. Like the way I be
Don't
getting
mind me
my
always starving.
community get treated is like new slavery. Oh, you can't eat here. Why? Because I might catch the cooties. Or you can't dress here because so and so. It's like it's ridiculous. Like I'm being myself. I'm not forcing myself on nobody. Don't get me wrong. Like I knew a lot of
Hmm.
old school parents that, unfortunately, I ain't gonna say and lie. They used to take the young kids and try to turn them out, but since it's so openly and freely now, a lot of people don't have to do that no more, or see,
Right.
people, whatever, or gay or not, and it's just, don't get me wrong, you still have
I mean,
certain
it's part of the benefit of being able to be, open and to have, more visibility in the community so that people don't feel the need to hide and then, have kind of crazy indiscretions. That's usually like the result of that. The more that we, push the community, you know, in the background, that's all that's going to happen.
Right. And then as far as also that's a touchy subject too, be for the download community as well. It's like a double edged sword because like at one point in time I was
I mean,
trading.
I don't believe in forcing folks out of
No,
the
I
closet, but you know,
hear me,
just for
hear
those
me,
who want to be out in the open. Go ahead.
hear me out. So at one point in time, I still date trans females as now today as well. But before I transitioned, I used to date the trans girl too. I used to be one of those who used to be a down low person and be one of those people who's like, oh fuck out of here during the daytime and creeping at night. No disrespect. But
Mhm.
I realized that coming out the closet in general is hard, whether if you're gay, lesbian, trans, or being who accepting who you are in general. Let me rephrase that. Accepting who you are and your issues and your flaws and anything you do in life is real hard. Like I say, everybody wears their pride in their sleeve. Everybody wants to be accepted. Just because that person has not yet found themselves, it might be a situation they might never find themselves. But that don't give you the right to out that person's business either,
Right.
even though it's a effed up situation, even
Hmm.
though he's a down low person and playing both life or a down low person in general. But still they have feelings too. That everybody has that experience, like, oh girl, I don't know what to do. Like they coming out to your mama or your dad, especially the male figures. So when it's like a lot of people feel like having masculinity and feminine energy is nothing, is just but energies. Everybody has to some
Right.
embrace it more. Someone might turn it down off completely,
That's
but
true.
everybody has that. But I feel like if women or people in general embrace both of them and accept it, and it comes from your background too, not to mention like a lot of women be saying, especially with the babies, when they have show a little feminine issue, they try to tough them up. Well, I don't want that CC stuff in my house, and it makes and then people grow up and surround certain things that they have grown for. It's also your environment too. But I applaud for those men that come out, that whether they're bisexual or trans or attracted, I applaud them because it's like we need more people who are comfortable and love themselves enough to accept, hey, I'm proud, I'm this, I'm trans attracted, this, that, and the
And they
third.
might
And
have a
a lot
benefit
of people
or
feel
might
like
have some
sexuality has to do
influence.
with body parts.
Yeah, but look, and those who are, comfortable in being out, they might have more of an influence on like some of those parents who say stuff like,
Right.
I don't want you sissy stuff in my house. Because I remember being told somewhere around 9 or something, that if I turned out to be gay, I was going to get beat up. That was by a relative. And so, I understand, I understand both sides, as for why people choose not to come out.
Yeah,
And
for
so, look,
safety reasons, or
mhm,
they just not comfortable with their stuff yet, or they're still trying to find themselves. And it sucks. And I
right.
wish that we had more leaders than followers, because a lot of people be following for the wrong reasons instead of leading. And I be seeing a lot of the community, like a lot of the trans girls, not to be funny, like a lot of the trans girls be transitioning just for the coin or the boys, or somebody said that they looked cute as a girl and got into the head. It's a lot of damage that us black LGBT community need.
I've heard you say that before, and I mean, my mouth is open, just like the first time I heard it. Like that's a lot to choose to go through, for something other than legitimately feeling that way. And let me ask you something. So you did an interview before, and I want to know, because I'm a firm believer of minding my business. You know, how does it feel to be interviewed? And I think this is rude. And one of the first things that comes out of someone's mouth is asking about whether surgery or not had happened.
That's annoying
I mean,
because
I would like to know what goes through
as
your
a
head.
human being, mind you, a lot of girls be asking me that too because I identify as lesbian. So
Hmm.
a lot of girls be asking me that. I'm like, I'm not a sex object. I'm not a fetish. Like, I'm a human being too. Like, what
Yeah.
does get to know me have to do anything between my legs? And that's not cool at all. Like, I don't understand people. Like, I don't know. I just
And I just want to remind folks that this was another interview. I'm not going to say who did it, but that came out in about the first minute and 10 seconds, and I said, "Wow."
yeah, like that. Yeah, that's fierce. But I made a joke with him or whatever. But in a sense, as I'm getting older and more wiser, I'm like, there's certain interviews where I don't even answer. I'm like, what does that have to do with my music career? Or just know that I'm an individual that is of the trans experience. What the F have to do with my between my legs?
Yeah.
I'm like, you know
I
what I'm
mean,
saying? Like,
a good
what I'm
response would be,
saying is like the only person who really needs to know
yeah.
that is the person I'm either in bed with or in a relationship with. But all that general surgery and do you still have, that's annoying. Like I try to avoid them questions. Like,
But that's like walking up to a woman and asking, "Hey, did you get a facelift?
yeah,
Is that your
that's
nose?"
like,
That, or what if you walked up? I mean, that's like walking up to a man and saying, "Hey, on the street, hey, 8, 9, 10 inches. Which is it?"
that's so
That should be your answer next
yeah,
time.
word. That's so disrespectful. Like,
And I want people to realize that, like, that is not a normal part of conversation to
that's
ask
what you
people.
really.
Who else do you get to walk up to and ask about what's between their legs? Particularly when it's about something like abstract, like music.
Right.
I'm just saying. I thought I would ask
Like
you
he
your
was,
thoughts on that.
but
And
see, like
listen,
mine effed him that day too because he was like, wait, because he thought this one perspective of women, it was just they just mess with guys, and then when he found out that I mess with girls, he was like, wait, what? So I'm like,
yeah,
yeah,
yes.
what you thought?
I like that. Like you had like one quick moment of solidarity and being together. You like, I fuck bitches, and he said, "Yeah, I'm with that. I do too." So, kudos for
He was like, so you
that.
literally fuck
You
bitches.
turned that
No,
around
he
really
really
well.
went in depth. He was like, so you literally fuck bitches. I'm like, yes, I really fucked her.
Yes, his mind was blown. That is exactly what he said. You really like you fuck bitches. That's
It's
what he said.
crazy. So you're not getting a surgery? No, I'm not getting a surgery. No.
I watched it and I just thought, and I could also, be wrong. I watched that interview and I can't think of her name. There's a woman that she's in an interview with. She looks very close. She looks very much like Lala.
Oh, wow. You know
Might
what's
be wrong
funny? That's like the second time I ever heard that. I favor Lala a little bit.
about her.
That's crazy.
But so,
Lala, babe.
so
Oh, that was my partner.
okay. So look, do you ever feel that in interviews like that one juxtaposed to other, to an interview with a woman, do you ever feel, I don't know, either more tense or on defense, in speaking with straight men? Because in that case, I did feel like you were, a little like in fight mode.
I
A little
mean,
bit, like you were kind of ready.
this aggressive spirit. So I mean, that's one way of me protecting my energy, and due to the fact that unfortunate that a lot of my girls have been getting hurt and stuff like that. But I mean,
Right.
I've been working on that too. But it's like it depends on the nature, and not to be funny, people go through things that certain days. So that day I could have been mad. I don't know. I could have been gotten a fight with
Now,
somebody.
I did tell people that as
Somebody
well.
could have
I
spilled
don't
a
like
drink on
judging
me
people.
last night. I mean, it's just
Yeah, that's true too.
But at
I
this
tell
time,
folks,
I have
celebrities are normal people. when folks have days, don't go walking around for the next 2 years talking about, I saw her in an interview and she looked like she wanted to get up and whoop this man's ass. Look, stop having. People have bad days.
Word.
I had this discussion with Misty about someone who had said about an appearance of an attitude. She was the one accused of an attitude. And I said, guess what? I had one that day. So what? Damn it happened. You know what we go through? Working together.
Like, we're regular human beings.
So I'll give you that one.
Like, you know.
I'll give you that one, but you know, you handled yourself well. And look, as for your musical style, I heard you describe yourself as the female Lil Wayne before.
Well, I actually earned that title, and even my I earned that title. I didn't call myself that. A lot of people from the community and people who listen to my music, they was like, "Yo, who is that? That's not like Wayne." I'm like, "That's not Wayne. That's me." So, and they was like, "Yo, you really sound like Lil Wayne, like a female version of Lil Wayne." And they just said, you know, I took the title because it was earned. It was not. I just called myself.
Wasn't something you came up with.
Weezy. Like, people really when listen to my music were like, "Yo, you dead sound like your audio sounds like a Lil Wayne." Like, it's crazy. So, but I grew up with Lil Wayne, of course. You know, shout out to the GOAT, Mr. Tucci.
Likewise.
You know.
Who's your rap influences?
You said who's my what?
What type of who are your influences in rap?
Oh, it's weird. I mean, even though I'm a female rapper, but I grew up on a lot of guys. Like, it was only a few females that rocked my boat, like Gangsta Boo, Eve.
Lady Boo, love Gangsta Boo.
Yeah, Lady.
Anytime I hear her name brought up, that's awesome.
Gangsta Boo was part of 3-6.
Yeah.
Of course, 3-6 Mafia, 8-Ball, MJG, UGK, Outkast, Lil Wayne, the whole Cash Money. I was in Juvenile.
We grew up on the same thing then. All right.
Yeah, like a lot of people. Like, I even listen to pop people.
I don't too often hear people list all the stuff I've listened to. We're on tune musically.
I label myself as a no genre artist, to be honest, because I do a lot of different sounds. I did a rock star type
out of the box
rap track called Rockstar Heaven. I was inspired by Lil Linkin Park. I used to listen to Linkin Park. I still do. I listen to a lot of people. A lot of people like, "Yo, what's your favorite hip hop artist?" I'm like, "You mean artist?" I love Cher. Some rock bands. I got
a lot of influences there. Different ones.
Yeah, Rage Against the Machines was a good band. I listened to a lot. Sum 41, Slim Village, Saliva. You know, like a lot of classic Led Zeppelin, you know, Jimi Hendrix.
Oh man,
just a lot of I just influenced with
very well versed.
Yeah. I actually started a genre. I'm guessing it's been a genre, but I started my own version of this genre. It's called May. I'm a big, huge fan, as you can tell. I like anime, Japanese cartoons, and stuff like that. I had started my own genre called May, M-A-E. So it's basically like I grew up on Adult Swim back in the days, Toonami. I used to watch a lot of Funimation. I do cosplay here and there. I'm a big anime fan. I'm a nerd. I play video games, and my genre is consists of that. So it's like songs that you can hear on placements like on 2K or something, or like for a playlist when you're playing Call of Duty, or you like the sounds, like the instrumental itself can be placed on an anime or like a commercial part for the anime segments, TV show Tsunami or Adult Swim.
We have to get you to do an anime soundtrack next.
I'm actually working on an EP called Gen, Gen, because that's a nickname for me. Jen, for my anime fans and gamer fans, Jen was Chun-Li's grandfather from Street Fighter. He was first introduced on Street Fighter 3. He was the older guy that wore the purple with the long beard. Basically the concept was is for the Gen EP is like I said, everybody comes to me for advice, like a teacher, and another word for teacher
Hmm.
is sensei or senpai. Um, like a lot of people come to me as a teacher, like, "Yo, Jen, how you do it?" And I was like, "Just be yourself or just network." So that's
Are
this.
you aware that Misty has been doing a lot of Japanese inspired
Yes,
stuff lately?
yes, yes. She,
Like her show has all of these Japanese. We're learning Japanese,
oh,
um,
word,
actually to do it.
word.
Like yes, like um, so the reality show is a national talent search, and so there's 24 judges. There's four different houses. It's mirroring the judicial system. You've got the Supreme Court, Circuit Court, Appellate Court. Um, all of that. I'm the head judge, the head of the
Hers,
Supreme Court, which makes me the Supreme Jaji.
right. Her
So
styles are
yeah.
Japanese. Her styles are Japanese. Where is mine? For mine is a little bit different. She's more on the
Mm,
samurai side. Mine is more cosplay it like Japanese wear, like
okay,
streetwear, Japanese tech wear, streetwear. You know, like the
I see.
cyborg type ninjas or like the Naruto pants or the samurai pants, like authentic like anime shit. I be wearing the Naruto headbands. I'm
Okay,
also working again a cosplay sword for my bleach outfit. Like I shop Japanese techwear and
really?
streetwear. Yeah. So like hers is more like the Kimura, the umbrella, the while mine is more urbany, where you see if
I
any
see.
anime fans out there, the combat jogger pants that hand hugs their ankles or the authentic samurai pants that's big and bushy that was on Bleach or Dragon Ball Z type pants and stuff like that and I wear, little cosplay mask, or I might actually get in cosplay and rap, but I have a hip hop urban to it. I wear my jewelry, I wear equivalent. Every hood person knows about Dragon
Uh-huh.
Ball Z. Like this is Piccolo, OG Piccolo running it, But I mean, the new sound for me, I feel like that's gonna be my meal ticket because it's like it's
That's definitely gonna
different,
be a fun
it's
project.
new, it relates for the community because I know majority of people in the LGBT community loves anime down. Like all my LGBT friends, like, oh my god, have you know this or that or third, or just the Japanese the acoustics in general. Like anime has taught me who to be, who I am today. It taught me how to laugh. It taught me how to cry. It taught me how to do struggle. It taught me to be in fear. It taught me a whole bunch of things in life. But the main focus for anime in general, a lot of people just think of all these just Japanese cartoons, just fighting people, joking people. The majority message for anime cartoons in general or the manga is to never
Mhm.
give up on whatever you do. No matter every episode, like for example, like Goku, he used to get beat up a lot. Or he even used to die, and people used to believe his credibility and his faith and way of fighting, the way his lifestyle. There's people times have wished him back and stuff like that, and he just kept pushing no matter how many times. As his enemies kept getting stronger, he got stronger, and a lot of people
That is
think
an
that goes,
important life
yeah,
lesson.
a lot of that goes off your head. Like everything that you do in life makes your mind and your mental stronger. So whatever you're going through now, you feel like you're your worst. That's not your worst. That's just at that point in time, you feel like it's your worst, but you'll get over it. And I always use, watch my animes and stuff like that to reflect for my life to give me more life and motivation. It's a lot more deeper than me just watching anime and just call me an animated girl, the animated world. It's just like, I'm just glad that I have a genuine partner that told me like, yeah, the gangster rap stuff is cool, whatever, but just be
Mm-hmm.
yourself. So I I I started being myself. Like one of the songs, the Blue Check guy, he's a big time anime fan. He dresses as a One Punch Man. He has his own Funko Pop collection. He has his own video game. This is things like I want to do too. Like that's dope. Like even be placed on like Adult Swim Cartoon Network would be dope. Like, and come to find out, I heard that they have a lot of showcases that have anime rap on the West Coast. They do a lot of conventions like that. There's a few anime rappers. Yeah, so I had a person of mine from that community has searched that to search me to do showcases here in New York, whether to perform at a convention, anime convention, or anime showcase in general.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
I hadn't thought about that.
but a lot
Performing
of
in anime convention.
influences, like a big major influences, was the Wu-Tang, who used the Japanese.
Oh
Travis
yeah,
Scott is
yeah.
another one. Lil Uzi Vert is another one. But my songs is, I would say, like, I literally name my songs like literally after anime or something similar, like to anime now. Like this one song that I had did on the Desert Storm Radio is called Wasabi. So what, for my anime fans, everybody know who Wasabi is. It's from Baruto. Wasabi-san. He's a little nerdy, little quirky, little ninja that always gets in the way on
I'm
Baruto.
learning a little about anime now.
So I had named that song after him, and it had a double meaning. So wasabi also is a pace. You hot, and I'm a high commodity right now. So it was a different type of vibe. But this Gen EP, I'm still in the works with it. I still have a few songs left. I still have to mix and master all the songs. After I release that, especially with the celebrity
Hmm.
track or that's going on, that prices is not going to be the same.
Hmm.
So
And they
I mean,
shouldn't.
so with that being said, people who wanted to collab with me, I love y'all all, but I realized that time of
People
work
get
is
mad
really
when
time of
numbers
work.
go up, you know.
Right. I'm just so humble.
Yeah.
Yeah, he pulls numbers too. Like no funny stuff. He has did tracks with Fatboy SSE. He has done track with PB and Rock. He has done tracks with Post Malone. That's not even released yet. So he has stuff in the
Okay.
vault too. So
Oh, nice.
shout out to
And quickly, who is this blue check?
his name
Who's
is
this
Lil
blue
Mata.
check guy you were talking about?
Lil Mata.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. So I met him through more bookings. Shout out to Scott Morris. He runs a little tours on all 50 states. I've been working with him for over a little year. I was at the Days Summit here in New York last year. That was a dope experience. Little music festival conference. I performed there, and
Okay.
my fan base has been growing and networking and meeting different people. And
As I see, like, I mean, you're not going to have some of these appearances that, some of these big name
yo, the
appearances Spin
list just
Magazine
go
might have
on. That's
had,
why I
and
just
not
at
have
this
it go
point, like,
up.
yo, just Google me. Like the list just go on like what I be doing. I be forgetting what the hell I be doing sometimes. Like, but
And I mean, I know how it works because publicists look. People have these magazine placements, and my email goes off with it because folks can't wait to go share it, and I don't blame them. I mean, I've only had like two smaller magazine
hey,
placements, and
look,
I was wondering when you kept mentioning the blue check guy. I was like, one, I want to know who it is. Two, I'll add as a selfish mention. I happen to have one blue check. It'd be nice if they would check the rest of my shit.
nah. I mean, you gotta
Whatever.
keep
I'll take the one. Facebook.
word, word, Facebook, word, hey, word. You know what's
It's a
funny? I
start.
ran into a celebrity on Facebook. Like it was weird, but he was from Korea. I forgot that famous K-pop group, but he was one of the main persons for the group, and it was crazy. He was like, "Oh," he was
BLS
like,
is
"You
the
know
only
who
group
I
I can
am?" I
think
was
of.
like, "No." He was like, he gave me the Instagram. I forgot what it was. This was like during COVID, and I was like, "Oh," I was like, "Yo, that would have been lit." But we lost contact though, so it sucks though. But it was a good opportunity to talk to the. I forgot what the K-pop group name. I wish my daughter was here because she would have known.
I think KLS is. I
I
think I
think it
messed it
was
up. I think
Kayla.
first I said DLS. I think it's
I
KLS.
think that's what it was. Yeah, KLS. Yeah, shout out to them. Yeah, actually it was. Yeah, that is the group. That's crazy.
Ah,
Yeah.
I'm good.
So they was
And with you working with Misty, the lady is
yeah.
good. I've said I have cut my schedule in half to be able to work with her because I've described her to others that when she wants to do something, she does it. Like there are projects I've talked about with folks for years where I am in Virginia, and she just it's planned by the end of the day. She's
Listen,
able to make things
she's a
happen
dope
quickly, and I
individual.
appreciate that.
I hope
When she calls me, I come. Nobody else can get me to just show up to stuff.
who knows? She might manage me eventually. Who knows? I mean, whoever has their eye on me, I'm gonna just continue to work. Continue to be humble. Continue to.
You've been praised well. You've been praised well by her, prior to scheduling this. So, you know, who knows? But I'm just
Listen,
saying, I
I'm
think that
just
that is a good connection to have.
this is another milestone in my career. Like I'm one of those artists. Like I always say this. I'm real humble. Like no matter how big or small the opportunity, I'm humble. Like a lot of artists want to walk before they crawl. It's like success. Everybody has their main goal, what they want to do. Granted, get signed, be a public
Right.
figure, get it. But a lot of people forget the success moments that you have accomplished while to get to that road, like another interview, um, or a placement here, or even completing a project. That's a form of success. You have to realize that all them successes and stuff like that, you have to see what you have accomplished within 5 years and what you're going to accomplish in the next 5 years. It's the next small steps you got to cross. Like you have to also keep reminding yourself too. That's what I do every 5 years. Am I the same artist 5 years ago? No, I'm not. You have to realize like
You
all them
shouldn't
little
be.
small things that you accomplish while getting to whatever your main goal is for your career. It takes time. Like it took me over 20
And you
years.
never know about what connection is going to get you where. In the case of Misty, I'm from DC. I've been in Petersburg, Virginia for the last for
Hey,
a year.
DC.
Whatever.
Come on, Wale City.
Yes. I am a yes, DC kid at heart. But I've been down here for 4 years and in Central Virginia. And some of the best, most fun that I've had has been over the last year. I think I met Misty almost exactly a year ago, a little over a year now. And I think it started with an interview. I actually wasn't sure what always going to happen because the person who gave me this, whatever, it's another story. I didn't know what I was expecting
Right.
when I showed up. But, I have moods. I possibly wasn't in the mood that day. What if I just said, I don't feel like doing this? What am I on here for? And it turned out to be one of the better, meetings, connections that I had, when she started working on this reality show. When I spoke at the first meeting that we had, one of the first things that came out of my mouth was I said, look, the fact that she not only came here once, but came back for more, said enough for me about her because that's a big deal. The wanting to come to, we were in Richmond at the time, whatever, Richmond, Petersburg, both, to want to spend any time there at all. And I said, for that, I'm appreciative, how many, opportunities, particularly industry-wise, happen to come here. And I said, so I am, along for the ride in supporting and helping. And I got up, look, I announced because she started the show this summer. I had announced I quit politics and said, I'm going to hell back where I came from. I was going back to DC. I think I didn't answer one call of hers. And I was like, that's nice. I'm going back home. And lately I said, look, you are why I am here.
I mean, the funny
So,
thing is, they always say you when you're close to making it or
but it
close to
started with me
something
showing
amazing,
up.
you always go back to where you originally started. Like, and it's weird. Or like a situation like where you start at. Like,
I was this close. I was this close to it not happening. And that's not being around each other.
yeesh.
Because, this is, culturally, this is very much different, Central Virginia. And it's taken a lot for me to
Yeah,
adjust.
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, as far as the music scene, it sucks. But even Pharrell talked about it. Virginia, y'all gotta do better. Like, y'all got no unity.
Hey, this is
Let
literally
When
what
I
I'm
was
doing.
going
Like
to
my
high
job
school in
is trying to
Virginia,
bring
when I was going to
the
high
best
school,
out of the state. This is literally my whole day. And this is why I'm working with her because so this is someone who's actually doing something. Like I'm sick of trying to twist
word,
people's arms into doing stuff. Or can you just stop bashing the place so that we could actually do something else?
that part, like,
Why do I have to convince you that where you are from is good? Why? Well, I don't have to do that.
word.
I can go back home to an actual good place and not sit here trying to tell you. It's like beating someone over the head, telling them that they're great. I'm not going to slam it because I do it too much, but this is my show gavel, and I'm always gaveling folks around
Word.
like Kai and her gavel. Um, yeah, get tired of trying to explain to other people that there's greatness here, but it's working out. And we were, of course, it led to, the both of us speaking. I'm happy to have, discovered you as an artist, your music as well. I'm happy to support, and blessings for much more success.
Thank you, love.
And try to give us a date, by the way. You're welcome. For when do you think that this anime project might be out?
Um, well, I'm a realist, so my income has been, unfortunately,
I
but
understand how it happens.
I have been doing the hustler ways as much as possible to continue putting more music out, continue to, pursue my career with blogs, showcase my
You never know who's listening, where someone might actually help with that part.
like
You
if
know?
anybody, I'm not a person that asks for handout. Oh, girl, yeah, give me some money, whatever. Like at the end of the day, I'm a person like I'm gonna still get money.
But as far as a partnership goes, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I just ask people continue
Good partner
to
might
bless me,
come up.
continue to support me, even just say, "Hey, Jen, keep pushing." That's what I really matters. But if you want to throw coin me my way, I highly appreciate it. If anybody's watching, y'all can always reach me. Genuine Beauty. That's my IG, all my platforms, my payment options. You can find me anywhere with that name. But even a word of encouragement helps me. Just say, "Hey, Jen, like keep going, keep pushing," like, or hey, just inbox me like, "Hey, how your day is doing?" Like small things like that really boost my like it does because it's gonna make me succeed and excel way further than my dreams. So, and that's what I want to do. Excel further than my dreams.
And I completely understand, and can side with. Look, I'm always going on Instagram and seeing folks talking about how they're going to go block half their friends list because they're tired of people watching their stories and then not doing anything,
Well, I mean,
anything else. So I
unfortunately,
understand the importance of trying to, of showing support where possible.
unfortunately, I don't really have day
Even a
ones
like
here
helps
in New
sometimes.
York because I was never raised in New York. I don't have any sandbox kid friends here, so it's twice harder. I would say for me.
Right.
I mean, I have made associates, but there are a lot of artists, but I really don't consider them as friends. Friends, like I don't. It was a situation I had an associate artist. I'm not gonna say her name either. It's a lot of. I had tried to be friend with her. She's from the lesbian community, and her friends was putting in her ears. That's a transgender. What you hanging out with a tranny? oh, this person trying to exceed your cloud and trying to be like you, and I guess they got in their ear too good. And at one point in time, we had went to a showcase in Miami, major whatever. We was hustling. She did what I had to do, and more people was hitting me up, so I got jealous. And we both like girls, and then it got to a point that her homeboy accused of me stealing stuff in her room. We had shared the hotel room, and it got physical. And then I was like, you know what? And then
See,
showing that, oh, that
and it's always when you're working on greatness, when it's
it
petty
happens.
stuff
So
that
I
gets
had
started.
learned
You know what I mean?
that lesson.
Business happens, people are signing stuff, paperwork's happening. And first, if to get to that point and you look at me and talk about something that came missing out of my bag, I will punch you in the face if you ruin all of this over something stupid like that. You know what I mean? I say this all the time. I tell Miss about it. I don't want to hear about nothing dumb like that.
Word.
We're working on stuff all hours of the day. And like I said, the woman's the magician, how I describe her. How she's able to work on stuff that I just don't know how it happens. I don't open my mouth about shit because I'm like, you know what you're doing. It works. It's fine by me. But yeah, people try and, little stuff. Oh, something went missing. Do you want your kneecaps? Shut up.
Word, that part. Do you want some recaps, Negro? The hell?
I gotta look. Somebody's gonna make a compilation of me saying stuff like that one day. I better stop.
You want your edges?
But seriously, and look, talk about stealing clout. You have your own clout. I just want to acknowledge that first.
Thank you.
Before someone tries to turn that around and say that you're going after someone else's. A little boost, of course, would help us all. But you have your own. And so at that point, I don't need to take yours. Like, remind people of that. I don't need to steal from yours.
Like, not
just like
funny,
the other subject of, I don't need to go over what's in anyone else's pants. Those are two subjects that should be off topic, off limits.
Yeah, I had a situation with Papoose. Like, I'm not gonna touch base on it too much, but make long story short, he had made a post about any artist who needs help, DM me, let's work. So I did. Somebody tagged me in the post. I did him. He responded to me. And I kept it a buck with him. So he was like, "Oh, this amount." I was like, "So where's the contract at?" You know what his rebuttal was? He was like, "Oh, you don't need a contract. My name holds weight." I'm like, regardless if it's $20 or $1, I need a contract. Especially if you're consenting, stating that, mind you, I don't know you from Adam and Eve. I don't care what the public media says about you or whatever, vice versa. I need a John Hancock. You're wilding. And then he just went on someone, oh, you ain't serious artist anyway. I was like, and I told him the truth. I was like, well, I'm a transgender female artist anyway. So that's at the time, I was still putting myself in a limitation in a box. I was like, this, that, and third. And then he said something. He was like, "Oh, I ain't trying to go back and forth with you." I just felt like I guess he felt like I was trying to trap him up when it wasn't even a case. And I authentically asked him for advice. I was like, "Bro, how did you get yourself out there?" And he didn't want to do that. I'm like, it's a lot of celebrity spiritual slobs, and I know Misty had a problem with him and Remy about stealing her feng shui and stuff like that. That's crazy. Like, but I have my little celebrity.
But you know what? For
Runarounds and stuff.
For every case like that, there will be the one, that's going to make up for that. And to tell Misty we're working together, it's like, we'll be laughing about some of this one day.
You gotta laugh.
Probably won't be today.
Not even laugh at
probably
one day. You gotta
week.
laugh at it now because it's like a lot of people who feel privileged or rich, like you're the same thing as a poor or middle class person has, and not to be funny, like people can go broke within 5 seconds or 3 seconds You could have
I believe that COVID
you
kind
can
of
have $1 million in your
has
bank
taught some
today.
people or should teach some people.
Right. You could have $1 million in your bank today and be broke tomorrow. I'm just saying, like it should
These
be
were stories that I'll just add, I physically saw, and heard of folks who, had to go wheel the bins in the line in the food bank line. And part of what I do, like community wise, is always trying to, highlight some of the positives and what is going on in, minority community,
right.
whether it's LGBT, Black, etc. Because, well, one, we're bashed enough. And at the same time, while we're always talking about what we're doing or not doing,
Right.
again, you have that. The ones who are saying that, we should do X, Y, and Z, again, look at where your car was just wheeled.
That part.
It can happen. It can happen to others as well. So listen, I could be on this video with you all day, but which I have done with others.
Right.
I say every time I'm like, I'm going to do better with time. But let everyone know where you can be found on social media so they can follow you.
Yeah, you can follow your girl Genuine Beauty, aka Female FBZ, aka Anime Girl in the animated world on all social media platforms. Genuine Beauty. If you don't know how to spell that, you can spell it at GENUWINE Beauty. Again, GENUWINE Beauty. You can also Google me. I really pop up for whatnot. I've
I was
been
going to say
working
that.
hard. You could also Google me, Genuine Beauty, and I'll pop up. So,
Hey,
um,
listen, this is a pleasure. I definitely enjoyed speaking with you guys. Please stream Genuine Beauty, and just because I'm holding this Misty TV frame, I'm going to gavel us out. All right, so I'm going to play a quick outro. I want you to hang around, and until next time.
later, y'all.
Yes.